Hi guys. So if you guys have watched my Instagram story on Instagram at GorgeousShan, GorjusShan, I was talking about how somebody asked me on my question board on Instagram. They asked me a really personal question. I feel like. They asked me, how do I combat with the urge of wanting to cut myself during these times of my life? And I find that very touching, and I find this topic very important because mental health is very important. I find it so crazy how we weren't taught how important our mental health is in school. There was nothing talking about or helping us to build up our mental health or to allow it to stay stable or aligned. There was nothing like that in school, and I find that very disappointing. Like, what were you guys really teaching us, Not really life to me. So anyways, back to the question that this person asked me. How do I combat with the urge of wanting to cut myself? Man, that's a deep, deep question. I'm a water sign, and for those of you who don't really know too much about water signs, we feel a lot. And I'm a Pisces, so I'm deep, deep, deep in the water. I'm always in the water. I can never, I can come up for air, but I'm always in the water. That's me, the fish, dwells and lives within the water. Unlike Scorpios is like a scorpion. They can go in the water, but they can also come out. They also need to come out. And just like a Cancer, the crab, they're crabs to which they can always go in the water, but they always need to come out. Pisces, fish, always in the water. Can't come out, can't live out of the water. So yeah, that's a perfect question to ask a water sign and a Pisces. How do I combat with the urge of wanting to cut myself? Nobody has ever asked me that question before. And man, how do I combat the urge of wanting to cut myself? I have to keep repeating that question in my head over and over again. How do I find the urge to combat? How do I combat the urge of wanting to cut myself? I don't even have those feelings anymore. So when I was younger, like little girl, oops, almost fell on my beanbag. So when I was younger, maybe 16, 15, I did have those urges. I had those thoughts building up in my head. You see, in the head, in the psyche, I had all those thoughts building up in my head. And my life wasn't that bad. Nobody's life is ever really that bad to where we should want to cut ourselves. Every and anything can always get better with the mind, with our thoughts, with our psyche. So when I was 16, I did have those urges of wanting to cut myself. I never actually did it, but I actually had knives under my bed, under my pillow, because those thoughts begin to manifest, and they make you feel like maybe if you weren't here, then everybody's lives would be better. I understand. I've been there, but I haven't gone through within that, And when I talk about, this, when I talk about mental health, when I talk about people cutting themselves, when I see people cutting themselves, it saddens me. As you can see, I'm about to shed tears right now. Because I know how that shit feels, you know? I know that low ass point to where you are at. But I'm here to show you and tell you that you don't have to take it that far. You don't have to take it to where you are actually physically hurting yourself, hurting your being, hurting your essence. Because when you hurt yourself, when you hurt your essence, when you take a knife and you slice a piece of your skin, that's not love. That's not love. That's not love of self. That's not love of others. That's not love of this essence. That's not love of who you are. That's not love of who I am, because you are a reflection of who I am, and I am a reflection of who you are. So which is why maybe that's the reason why I've chosen not to push through into cutting myself at 16. I don't know. But I did have those thoughts, and those are low thoughts. Those are weak thoughts. And I don't want to call you weak, the one who's on the other side of the screen cutting themselves. I don't ever want to call you weak, but it is a mental thing. It is just a mental thing to which makes us feel so weak that we want to harm ourselves. So when I was 16 years old, I took a knife, to my arm, like how some of you have probably done. And I never pushed through though. I never pushed through. I mean, I had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me in my life, but I've always have had my mom. She's always been my backbone. She's always been my rib. She's always been my heart. She's my everything, And she's a Scorpio. She's another water sign. But I don't know, maybe that had to play a big role as into, why I didn't push through into hurting myself. It's also on how we've all been raised and how we've all been taught, how we've all been programmed. Our parents have to set a strong mindset for their children, for us, so we can grow up into having that same mindset, into carrying that same strength within us, not even knowing it. So some of us probably were born and raised into a household that wasn't as strong as another's, to which is why certain times we begin to feel or become weaker than others. And that's okay, because we all can learn and go through different experiences and just learn and grow from one another, But the Chantel today, she has never, ever, ever had those thoughts manifest in her head. No matter how much bullshit that she's been through, that I've been through, I like talking to myself. I love talking about myself. I love myself, as you can see. She has never just had those thoughts manifest within her head, because she knows what thoughts can manifest into. And that's not who she is. That's not who Chantel is. She's not a person to want to harm herself because she loves herself too much. You see where I'm going? And I feel like, so back to the question, how do I combat the urge of wanting to harm and cut myself? And just being honest, if it wasn't for my practice, for my passion of yoga, I don't know, I don't know where I would be right now. The reason why I don't cut myself, the reason why I don't have those thoughts manifesting in my head is because of the strength that I built up with my practice of yoga. Yoga just isn't the physical postures that we've come to see, but yoga is everything, the whole trinity. The mind, the body, and the spirit. So with practicing yoga, it's everything. It's getting back to self. It's feeling self once again, that feeling that you probably never felt before. Yoga has taught me, can teach you, all of us, how to get through the pain. How hard it is just to get through the pain and how you can get through it. How hard it is to get through the breathing. But you can get through it. How hard it is to get through the postures, the physical asanas in the yoga practice. It teaches you that you can get through it. So this whole journey of me journeying through my practices of yoga, it's been building me up and strengthening me up this whole time. And I didn't even know it, you know? I didn't even know how powerful the practices of yoga is and are until I truly needed it. If that makes sense. I can't even comprehend who this person is. Like, how the fuck are you getting through this shit, Chantel? How the fuck are you not cutting yourself like other people who has been in the same situations as you? How are you still staying consistent? How are you still inspiring to aspire? And I just reflect and I write, and yoga comes back. Yoga always comes back. Yoga's always there. Yoga has always been there. I always used to hear people talk about their yoga stories and you know how it changed their lives, it transformed their lives. It's crazy. Like, it's real. It's real. And I just don't know where I would be without this practice today. Like, I mean, I have my mom, my dad, my amazing family, my amazing best friends, my girls, my 2 dogs and my cats. But myself, that's them here for me, but what am I doing for myself? What are you doing for yourself? You can have all the positivity around you, but what positivity are you bringing to yourself? How are you uplifting yourself within? Somebody else cannot help you to heal from within but yourself. So I feel like yoga has helped me to heal from within to without, and it's continuously helping me to heal from within to without. And it's so crazy how I started yoga. I didn't even look up, I didn't even know what yoga was. I didn't even like look up anything. I didn't even look at any videos. Like, I did this shit from within. Like, I never looked up YouTube videos because I always thought they were so boring to me. None of them inspired me. I was getting very bored and I just lost my track. And I just literally started doing this shit myself, doing this practice myself, doing this deep healing practice within and without of myself. I would see pictures and stuff, on Instagram, and I would push myself into mastering different parts of yoga, because I don't want to say I push myself into mastering the physical postures, because that's only one limb of yoga. Yoga has 8 limbs, and that's only one, and that's what we've only come to see is the physical postures. That's why I love to promote not just the physical postures, but my face, my smile, what I eat, where I go, nature, because that's all the mind, the body, and the spirit. But the universe literally handed yoga in my hand and was like, here you go, let's see what you can do with it. And I fell in love with it. And I've never fallen in love with something as physical as yoga like that in my life. In my life. Like when I first began, I looked like crap. I looked like I didn't even know what I was doing. But now look at me, not even just only within the physical postures, just within everything, within just the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now look at me. Now look at you, Chantel. Now you look at you. And yeah, so how I combat the urge of wanting to cut myself is through my practice of yoga, through my writing, through the strength that I carry within to without, by hanging around good positive friends, good positive things, good positive places, by speaking positive affirmations to my being, to myself. I love talking to myself in first person. I love boosting my own head up. Talk to yourself, that's okay. That's not weird. You're talking to yourself. You're helping yourself to motivate your own self. And what is that? You're showing yourself love. Because like I said, whenever we want to harm ourselves, whenever we harm ourselves, that isn't us loving ourselves. That is actually us hating ourselves. And how can we live life with hating ourselves? So do worldly goods, do positive things, live within passion, live within love. Find something that you can fall in love with, like how I fell in love with yoga. It doesn't even have to be yoga. Find something for you. But yoga is here to help us heal and come back to self. So I do suggest yoga. So thank you to the person who, asked me this very touching question, and I just want you and everybody to know, how important our mental health is. And don't forget that if I can make it through, if I had the urge to take a knife and cut myself and I didn't, if I can rise above, if I rose above, then I know that you can too. Don't give up. Please don't give up. I lost a friend to depression, and I can't lose you too. One love. Namaste.